Hey, everybody, welcome to Breakfast All Day. Alonso here with Matt and Christy, and they have seen Endings Beginnings, and I have not. So this is the ending of me being on this episode.
And the beginning of me talking about this movie. So Shailene Woodley plays a woman in her early 30s who has the deeply troubling conflict of having to choose between Sebastian Stan and Jamie Dornan. That's her main problem in life here. At the beginning of the film, she has just broken up with her longtime boyfriend. She is no longer working at the art job that she had, this nonprofit. She's left sort of mysteriously. She's moving back in with her sister and her husband and their little girl, living in the pool house in their backyard. This is somewhere in LA. I'm going to guess like East Side, Silver Lake-ish. And she swears off the top that she's not going to drink and not going to date anyone for 6 months, and just give that a shot and see if making those kinds of big life changes will help get her on the right track, because she's kind of lost at the beginning. And that's actually the most interesting part of this whole movie for me, is the way she is regarded when every situation she goes into, because it's around the holidays. She goes to her mom's house for Christmas. Her mom's played by Wendy Malick, and she automatically pours her a glass of red wine. And Shailene says, "Oh no," or her name is Daphne. Daphne says, "Oh no, I'm not drinking right now." Her mom's like, "You can't stop now. Now's when you have to drink. This is the wrong time to stop." Or she'll go to a party, and New Year's Eve's coming, and she meets Sebastian Stan at this party at her sister's house, and he offers to get her a beer, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm not drinking." And he's like, "Really?" And like everyone's sort of shocked, like she's just some monster, some freaky creature. But she smokes like mad, so she still has that going for her. But she meets Sebastian Stan at this party, and he's flirty, and he's cute, and he's funny, and they share a cigarette outside, and he says, "Oh, I'm here with a friend of mine." And then later on at the party, she sees Jamie Dornan, and maybe she's met him somewhere before. He's a friend of her sister's, and he is also charming. He gets to actually be Irish in this, which is unusual. He does not ordinarily, if you have seen any of the 50 Shades of Grey movies. And she later finds out that they are best friends. But she likes them both. She has kind of a flirty connection with them both. And they're two very different guys. And so the Sebastian Stan character is passionate and impulsive, and he lives in a loft. And the Jamie Dornan character is a writer, and he's a professor, and he lives in this kind of cool, minimalist, understated, and very tidy place. And in no time at all, between the two of them, she's drinking again and she's having sex again with them both. That's how she's trying to navigate this relationship with both guys. She insists at first that she does not want to drive a wedge between them, and then she does exactly that. This is from Doremus, who also directed Like Crazy. I'm not a fan of his movies in general, and this is yet again a film with sad, beautiful people just kind of like being emo and wistful, and kind of like looking out windows with like gauzy curtains and things blowing, and sad emo indie rock. And it's just a bummer. Like, she likes these two people. Clearly she cannot be with them both. In theory, it's this journey of discovery for her, but I never really cared. I guess it's vaguely interesting that they make this person such a mess, such a selfish mess, and so unlikable, and like repeatedly daring us to try to get on her side and care about her happiness and her fulfillment. But it's tough.
Yeah, it's frustrating, because I want to say that this is like mumblecore Reality Bites, but Reality Bites has a much tighter story, and is actually, we see a real conflict and a real interesting arc for Winona Ryder's character in that movie. This one, it's frustrating, because this movie does a couple of things. Like, I think it does one thing that I'm actually really fascinated by, in that it lets her bounce between these two guys, and she's juggling these relationships the way a dude would, right? And the movie's kind of okay with that. Mm-hmm. it keeps her, like, she's still a mess, but it doesn't like get puritanical and like really terribly punish her for it the way I think a lot of stuff that we'd seen out of Hollywood over the last couple decades, forever, would have, right? But it's, having read a little bit of the notes about this, like there's a lot of improv going on here.
Oh, that makes sense.
And some of that works. Like, I think that there's decent chemistry with all of them, with between her and both guys. I think I kind of bought that she'd have relationships with both of them. Frank gets less interesting as the movie goes on.
That's a Jamie Dornan character.
No, Frank, that's Jack.
Oh,
Frank,
right. I'm sorry, yeah.
Right.
They look a lot alike, too. They both have, like, dark hair, facial scruff.
Which I was actually okay with, like, okay, she's got a type. Right. But, like, Frank gets, like I said, he gets, Sebastian Stan's character gets less interesting as the movie goes on. Whereas Jamie Dornan's character doesn't, and he's not just one note. Like, they've given that character a little bit of depth that I don't think that they've given to Stan's character. Then this movie, you get hints of the movie. This will be a little bit similar to what we were talking about with The Quarry. We get hints from the movie about something that happened to Daphne at her last job and why she left. And then one of the big moments, we get a real sense of what that actually was. And I think that when the movie gives that to us, I think it does a disservice to the whole story.
Because it's like an excuse for her being a mess?
I don't know if it's an excuse. I don't know if it's supposed to recontextualize. Mm-hmm. It seems like maybe it's supposed to, and I think it's a little bit, it doesn't feel like it fits the rest of the stuff. I mean, yeah, it just feels a little out of place. I don't know. I mean, I say this as a dude who's not had to go through something like that, so who knows? But it just feels a little like stuck in there in a way that doesn't seem to be really germane.
It's got some big ideas on its mind between what happened at her job and the state that she is in, and some big choices that she has to make up until the very end. It's got a lot on its mind, and yet there is this kind of meandering, lazy, dreamy quality where it just sort of floats. Like
in a Drake Doremus movie, really?
It is, yeah. There's a whole sequence where I hated this part of the movie too. They drive up to Big Sur. She goes with the Sebastian Stan character up to his friend's place, like totally last minute. They drive up a PCH, they go to Big Sur. And it's like this goth castle, and they have these rock stars are playing just for no one, and they all drink wine and they all sing, and there's like various little
he's got caves. An old cool car,
right? He has a vintage car, and they pull off to the side of the road and they share a cigarette and they play in the sand, and there are a lot of moments like that didn't feel like real life to me. Like they're simultaneously trying to show realistic snippets of a life of a woman in flux. Right. And then you have these like, let's go off to Big Sur and get drunk with our goth rock star friends.
But like, there are moments where it is real, where she's like, early on in the movie, as you see, you get the phone calls where she's calling about jobs and calling and calling and calling, and finally says to one of them, like, well, do you know anyone else that's hiring? Like, that kind of stuff felt fairly grounded and fairly real. But then, there's just these other moments in this. It just felt out of place, right? Mm-hmm. Like the timing is all, it's again, that reveal about her last job, like that's a conscious choice to put it at that point in the movie. And I don't know that that's the right place for it to have the impact. Like, I think and then the going back and forth with Wendy Malick, the mom character, and this movie is as unfocused and as kind of undisciplined as the Daphne character.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Anyway, I'm saying 5.
Yeah, is that what I said?
You said 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5.
Okay. So 5.3 is our number. Yeah, Alonso, if you don't like Drake Doremus movies, this is not going to be the one that makes you like Drake Doremus movies.
Oh, well, we live in hope, but I sat through Equals. I don't know if you guys ever saw that one.
No,
the Kristen Stewart, the dystopian future where everybody's the same until, they rebel. Anyway. All right. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on the social media at BFastAllDay. We're there on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And please give a visit to our Patreon page at patreon.com/BFastAllDay. We're about to kick off our recaps of FX and Hulu's new show, Mrs. America, and continuing our discussions of Westworld and the Plot Against America. Fun other stuff that only our subscribers get. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you have, thanks. We appreciate it. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye.
Bye.